Hey, this is Eric from Catching Light.
Hey, this is Hemp.
Hey, this is Glenn.
Hi, I'm Steve-O.
Hey, this is Drew Hines with Hindsight Imagery.
This is Matt Callahan at Digimatty Photographic Services.
Hey, this is Jason, and welcome to Tales from the Pit. Hello and welcome to Tales from the Pit, the behind the lens access for concerts and photography. Today is our part 2 with Theory drummer Joey Dandeneau. Joey, welcome to the show. Thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me. Pleasure.
What's the craziest tour you've been on?
You don't have to give details.
Yeah, give the details.
No, I
cut
think
that out.
was probably the craziest.
Yeah.
Tommy Lee is a maniac, or at least he was. He he didn't like come around a lot, like to hang out with us. He kind of kept himself a lot, but he had the first tour we did, the Saints tour. He had an undressing room, and it was always, for some reason,
We have one of those too.
you have one of those too. Everybody walks in and takes their clothes off. Yeah, and so
Not for the same reasons, though.
No.
Yeah. And so we, for whatever reason, they would always put his dressing room, the undressing room, right next to ours in the arena. So we'd get off stage and there would be literally a line right past our dressing room, from his dressing room all the way past ours down the hallway, of essentially just women waiting to get into the undressing room, where they would sign a waiver stating that, you know, you go in, take your clothes off, and what happens in here stays in here. So, and Tommy would, he'd have a full DJ set up with full PA set up every day. And he'd go in there after the shows.
Wow.
He was partying and drinking and having a good time. And he'd go in there and DJ for all the people that were in there.
You got it.
That was ridiculous every night. I'm like, this is out of control. And then I think when we did the Motley Crue, or the Crewfest 2 run, I think Nikki Sixx was like, you know what? I'm kind of tired of this. You're going to if you want to do a party, you go outside, because we did amphitheaters down that run. So he's like, you got the whole backstage parking lot. Do your thing out there. So Tommy, I guess, was like, yeah, sure, no problem. I can do that. So he actually got a circus tent, and he hired an entire crew. I think they had their own bus, and he had a full line array PA hung in there every day. And they would decorate it like a circus, and it was insane. And it was just like full PA, full production lighting. I mean, it was nuts, and it was a huge tent. And every night that we were playing, he would massive parties, and like Pamela Anderson would show up, and like all these people were showing. I was like, this is ridiculous. And yeah, it was like, and actually, funny enough, so we had finished the show one night. We're all backstage, and I guess Tommy would cover. I guess in a tour he'd run like $10,000 or $20,000 worth of like fireworks, and he'd blow shit off in the parking lot after the shows, because he had like ridiculous amount of fireworks. And he'd put on these displays, and the cops would show up and tell him to stop. And one night, I guess he had sparklers in his hand, and they melted or exploded or something, and melted his hand.
Ooh.
So I was sleeping at that point. I wake up in the morning to my guitar tech knocking on my curtain on my bunk. And so he's like, you know, you can shake it and knock on it. And he's like, Joe, it was like 9 a.m. And I open my curtain, and I'm like, dude, what? He's like, Nikki Sixx needs to see you. What? More details. And he's like, Nikki Sixx needs to see you in Mick Mars's dressing room. That's all I got. You got to go. I'm like, okay, what? Are you serious? He's like, yeah, get up. He's looking for you. I'm like, okay. So I go into the dressing room, to Mick Mars's dressing room. Nikki Sixx is in there. Tommy's drum tech, Viggy's in there. And the tour manager's in there. And I walk in and I was like, what's up, guys? And I thought that I was like in trouble, but I'm like, I didn't do anything wrong. I'm like, I don't understand what's happening. And Viggy goes, sit down. Holy cow. So I sit down, no idea what's happening. And he goes, so listen, bit of a problem. Tommy hurt himself last night. We may need you to play drums for Motley Crue tonight. I'm like, what? They're like, yeah. So, and Viggy's like, look, I don't want to be the guy, this guy to have to bring that on you, because that's asking a lot, but we don't have a drummer. Like, Tommy's in the hospital right now getting his hand casted. So you may need to play tonight. On the side note, we're going to call Morgan Rose as well, because he understands the cue system and the click track system that Motley Crue uses, because Viggy set up Seven Dust's rig as he set up Motley Crue. So it was the same system. And that whole show, the Motley Crue show, is all on cues. So you can hear cues in your head all night, because it you know, I mean, there's massive production going on. So you hear all that. And I didn't know how that worked. But they also knew that every night I would go out and watch the show at front of house, because their sound guy told them that he'd see me standing next to him at front of house watching the show every night. Because I love sound and all that stuff. And Andy had a killer mix. So I just watch their show every night. So I was fairly familiar with the songs. And so Viggy's like, look, we're going to call Morgan. If Tommy can get him here today, he plays. If he can't get him here, you play. And I'm like, this is ridiculous. And they didn't want to ask Shannon Larkin from Godsmack, because they were playing right before Motley Crue. So they didn't want to have him play Godsmack set and then a Motley Crue set.
Yep.
They figured, well, they saw me play and they thought that I would be able to play it well enough. And that was a massive compliment. Like, Motley Crue thinks I'm good enough to play drums for them. So I'm like, wow.
Yeah.
And, but yeah, so he ended up getting Morgan on a flight that day, and he showed up, and Morgan gets out of the van backstage, and I just happened to be standing there when he walked out of the van, and I'm like, hey man, and this is the first time I met Morgan, and so he had no idea who I was, and I said, listen, I'm the other guy that they asked. I've been learning these songs all day. I haven't eaten. My stomach fell out of my ass when I got that, so I had no appetite. I was so nervous, and so I told him, like, look, I don't know if you know the songs. I'm kind of familiar. If you have any questions, just feel free to ask. I'll do anything I can to help. And he looked white. And I'm like, dude, anything you can just let me know. And he goes, this is actually one thing. I'm like, yeah, what's that? He goes, can you show me how to play these songs? I've never played these songs since I was a kid. Like, white as a ghost. He was so nervous. Like, oh my God, dude.
Oh my God.
Oh my God. I feel so bad for you right now. And so he left and went in, and Tommy started work with him right away. And I walked out front, and I kid you not, guys, I walked out front to watch a show. Now, every band that was on that bill, there was a side stage of bands that were running on like a Jaeger stage that they put up during the day before, like the Crue Fest bands would go on. Even those bands were there. Everybody was at front of house watching the show because Morgan's on stage. And this is the time when Mick Mars actually he was having a lot of problems with his neck and his back. And I think he was having a bit of a tough time on that run. And so I think he got confused during the Girls, Girls, Girls solo. And he started playing a different solo over that song. And I think it just screwed up Morgan, and the band train wrecked halfway through the song and stopped. And everybody at the front of house looked at me and went, I bet you're glad that's not you right now, man. Holy cow. I don't know what I would have done. I was just shitting myself. Apology. But like, it would have been a mess. So yeah, that was my story for that. But at the end though, I was still, it was like such a insane feeling that I got asked to play drums for Motley Crue on a tour. So I'll never forget that. That was the craziest thing that's ever happened to me. And that tour was ridiculous to watch every night.
Good
Yeah,
answer.
no kidding. Yeah, that is. I can't even imagine.
That
how
was the
nuts that
best
would
one
be.
so far.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, totally. Now, was Tommy doing the roller coaster thing at that time too?
No, and no, he wasn't. He just he had that massive. He had like a huge kick drum where you could like barely see him.
Yeah.
But I played on the kit, and in soundcheck one day I went up to look at his kit, and Viggy was like, "Hey, do you wanna play the kit?" And I was like, "I'd love to." And I didn't even put two and two together, but he had a, like he had like we all use in-ears for monitors,
sure.
but he actually has behind him a full PA, like a massive arena PA just behind him for his, just so that he can feel the kick drum and the bass guitar, And I didn't have any ears in, so I get behind the kit and I set it to Tommy's kit, and it's this gigantic, big, huge bass drum, and it's just everything's big spread out because he's kind of a lanky, tall guy, so everything was big. I look like a little midget behind his kit, and I grabbed the sticks on a snare drum, and I pick it up, and it was almost like I didn't know what to do. I kind of was like, this is weird. And I just put my foot on the kick drum pedal, and I hit the kick drum once, bam. And the PA was on behind me. I didn't know. Scared the pants off. So loud. I'm like, wow, holy moly, this is ridiculous. And Tom Viggy's like, dude, play. So I'm like, all right. So I get like this massive stance because he's lanky, and I just start smashing on Tommy's kit, and it's this wall of drums just smashing my back. I'm like, I've never experienced sound coming from like drums that massive coming from behind me. So that was that was an experience on its own. I'll never forget that either. But yeah, no roller coaster. Awesome. Thank goodness, because if he would have run me around that, I'd have thrown up all over.
Yeah, you have to fill in with all Tommy's drum solo stuff and do a roller coaster and everything.
Right. No thanks.
You have to do it all in a Speedo too.
That'd be mad. That'd be terrible.
That's super cool. So let's we'll do a little bit of photo talk if you don't mind, seeing as how we're all photographers. So does Theory ever like tour with a video or photographer at all?
We don't. We try and tour pretty slim. We carry one bus, keeps the cost down. Everybody piles in, 12 guys, and where we go. So we don't really have the space for it. And I kind of like, it'd be nice, but it's fairly costly, and I don't know that we have that kind of money to be, bringing out those guys. We try and make friends with photographers and such along the way, because they can come out to where they live, and maybe try and shoot the show. And so I get a lot of messages from photographers that will reach out to me personally and say, I'd love to get some photos of you and the band tonight. Wondering if you could help me out. I'm like, yeah, I'll get you a photo pass, and you can stand out there for the first three and, shoot your heart out.
You just made 3 friends tonight, so just keep it.
Yeah, we'll be messaging when you get back on the road.
Yeah, no, I am usually pretty good for it. I'm like, just if it's okay if I can have, use some of the photos, and everybody's like, yeah.
So when it comes to that, so I'm from the photographer's perspective, our job is really, for us working for the venue, our job is really to capture the fan experience, but we get to actually shoot the band as well, which is sort of the icing on the cake. But when I can't imagine what it's like from the artist perspective. Every night you're getting tagged with on social media, so many photos and stuff. What do you like to see and maybe not like to see in photos when people are taking your photos? What are you liking? What are you hoping to see? And what are you like, no, don't do that anymore type of stuff? Do you have any opinions on any of that? At
first I did, because I thought that, because I make funny faces when I'm play. Yeah. And, and it seemed like the photographers at first, I thought that they didn't like me. So they tried to take photos of me when I looked my worst. And then I come to realize that it wasn't their fault. I just make them these ugly faces nonstop, and they don't have a choice. So it's on me. So yeah, no, I don't have any. I just having a photographer take a photo of me playing is to me a massive compliment, because you got to remember that I'm not the star of the show. I don't have the voice that people are listening to. I'm not portraying the message that most people are coming to the show to listen to. People love lyrics and melody, and you know, I give melody a little bit, but you know, it's all about my singer. And you know, he's a very good looking individual. So you know, women just, they love him. And so I have, like, I get on stage and it's like I don't exist, and it's fine. So when a photographer wants to take their camera off of him and put it on me for a sec, that is the ultimate form of flattery, because it's like they really want to get a capture, a shot of me playing drums, and that's so awesome. So I'm all about it. Like, you know, even if I look terrible and I got this goofy face or something, go for it. You know, it's just, it's flattering. So thank you.
It's funny you say that, because we had Barry, I think it said the same thing.
Yeah, we get,
from
you know, a lot of the musicians actually say the same thing. It's like, you know, you have guitar face. Ryan Roxy was saying, you get guitar face, and you're like, as you're soloing. Barry was saying he always looks angry when he's drumming. He's like, that's not me at all. I'm the calmest, happiest guy there is. But every photo, I'm like, yeah, you know.
I'm the same, yeah. And when I'm singing, I'm full on, I got my mouth open because I'm singing high harmonies, but it looks like I'm just yelling at people and I'm so angry. I'm really not.
Yeah,
I enjoy photographing the drummers. Actually, I include everybody in my photos when I can, meaning singers and all the way through. So, yeah,
I can tell you, that's much appreciated.
Yeah, no, I'm serious when I say that.
Yeah,
You're the hard one to get because you're covered.
Yeah, symbols get in the way. And it's true.
Yeah, I hear that a lot, which is why people don't photography. They don't shoot me as much. It's just that I've heard that it's hard to get.
Yeah.
You're the challenge.
Drummers are my homework when it comes to photography, because obviously you're hidden behind shiny symbols and stuff like that. So the camera focus is always going to jump to those.
Yep.
Usually your lighting is somewhat difficult depending on where you are and what's going on in the song and stuff like that. So usually I shoot all the fun stuff, and then I'm like, all right, now I got to get my homework. I really need to get the drummer, because you want the full band, but the drummer's sort of that skill set you got to start working on. So it's important to get everybody, in my opinion, I'm all about the rhythm, and I'm all about that kick drum sound in your chest at a show. So, that drummer's a whole foundation to everything. So I certainly appreciate that, the killer drums and the killer sound and all that stuff. So yeah, totally.
So it goes both ways. Yeah, no, but what to go back on what you said, it's a task to get that drummer in a good shot. And I've had some photographers get me in an amazing photo, and that's the first thing I'm like, you must be a really good photographer, because that was not easy to get. Like that and like they got the lighting was just right. I'm like, wow, that's well done. Like, well done. You obviously did your homework, so good for you. And it's super easy to appreciate good photography. Awesome.
So, time wise, how are we doing, everybody? I want to be respectful of your time, Joey. You got time for maybe a few more questions?
I'm here for you guys, man. Let's chat.
I appreciate it. Glenn or Hemp, you guys got any additional questions?
I don't think. I looked at my list here. I've pretty much covered everything that I could ask.
I got plenty more.
Great interview.
Hemp, you got anything?
Yeah, just one or two.
Go ahead.
Have you ever had to deal with, you said at the beginning, with fans coming up to you with looking for autographs and all that? Have you had to deal with any really crazy ones?
Here comes another good story.
Besides,
you can talk about besides Tommy Lee.
Is this PG?
No,
you can go wherever you want to go with this. It's up to you.
So we were doing a festival. We were doing a meet and greet, and this younger guy is in line, and he gets to us at the table, and wants our autograph. So we signed for him, and he's so excited. You could tell he was a fan. He loved the music. He's been there since day one. Just really wanted to say hi to us and just tell us how much he enjoys listening to our music and loved watching us play live. And that was awesome. gets to Dean, who was sitting on the end of me, and I was third from last. And this lady walks up, and she's having a good time, you know, and she gets to Dave, who's sitting next to me, and she says, "You guys are the best. And I want to show you something you guys are never gonna forget." I was like, "Oh yeah, what's that?" She takes her nipple out and she starts squeezing it, and milk starts shooting all over, and it hit a stream, hit the kid next that night. That nice kid, young kid, right, was next to her, and hit her right in the face. And he's like, "What are you doing?" And she's just like, "Yeah," and just squirt, and just. And I don't know if you guys seen that ever, like she's pregnant, obviously, and she's having a good time. I'm like, this is not good. And like it streams, it's like shoots streams out. I felt sick. I like gagging. Like
It's not a very good taste, is it? No.
What is going on? Why? What is this?
Why me?
Why are you doing this?
Hey,
this is crazy.
she was right. You'd never forget it.
People are having a good time. That's cool. But I mean, you gotta have like a little bit of tact. Like when you come up, see, like you just, you know, that was a good one.
Aim better.
So you got milked, basically.
I mean, thankfully, like we all went like, whoa, like, you know, back in our chairs, like, whoa.
That's
Like,
a
right in the
classic.
face, bang, right in the cheek, you know. And I felt bad, and but you don't forget it. She was right. It was a
And we
story.
look for those
Oh,
kind of
yeah.
shots too.
Certainly
That's
not
crazy.
COVID
It's so
compliant, that's for
Oh
sure.
man, that's unreal.
Definitely not COVID compliant. That's
Aren't
for
you glad you asked that question, Hemp?
That was no compliant.
yeah.
We might have to cut that one out. That was a good one though.
We'll leave it in. We'll leave it in.
I said it. This is PG. Is
Yep. When so now COVID's here. Are you guys working on anything at all? Are you just enjoying the downtime? You got any plans? I know you dropped an album and then kind of really can't do anything.
well, yeah. So we're it's still actually it's in rotation right now. We're just about to release a third single. So History of Violence was the first. It went to #1 on Active. We were touring it, and then we came off the road, and World Keeps Spinning. We got released, and now that's done now. And now they're about to release our third single, like soon. And there's actually a feature on it. I won't say it yet, but it's but there's a feature on it. It's not on the record, so it's a radio version, but and for streaming as well. But it'll be coming out soon.
Oh, cool! Awesome.
But as far as that, no, we're not writing yet, because we don't really know what's going to happen, and but I have a feeling that we probably will start fairly soon. Start writing soon.
Now, drumming is a pretty physical activity, obviously. Do you do a regular workout to keep yourself in shape? And
I mean, drumming is a workout, so
oh yeah.
I don't do a lot of like I try and like it's my neck and back and stuff and low back are kind of the ones part of the body that really gets kind of beat up. So I just try and stretch those out and get massages when I can and work those out, and a lot of chiropractor to kind of just keep everything lined up. And then just that's really about it. And then diet is trying to eat clean. Yeah.
Cool.
The oh shit, I was just gonna ask you. Dang it, I had a question. You guys are you guys gonna thinking about any sort of live online show like all these other bands are doing, anything like that at all? Or
we thought about it, we talked about it, but we would all have to get into the same city to do it, and we all live in 4 different cities, one of which is still in Canada. So to be flying around right now, it's just kind of just a no. Yep. So no, I don't think that's going to happen. My singer he's been asked to do some acoustic, like 3 song acoustic stuff that he's put out. But full band stuff, no, I don't think I don't think so.
I mean, I know you guys have done little bits and pieces like that, but honestly, I would love to hear a full band acoustic live or even recorded studio versions of your stuff.
Well, we've actually done full acoustic tours.
Oh, really?
We did, yeah. So it was like all acoustic guitars and a drum kit.
Oh, dude, yeah.
And it was cool. We've done it twice in Canada, and the fans said that it was the best show they've ever seen us do. It was like stripped down.
Yeah.
We had everybody seated, spread out within the stage. We put out some production. We had like candelabras we put up with like all these old style like church candles and stuff, and we lit them all, and cool backdrop and stuff, and it was a really cool production. And we did everything acoustic guitar and drums, and it actually sounded awesome. That was probably one of the better tours I've ever enjoyed because of the way it was played, and the production value I thought was just so cool. And it was all theaters.
Yeah.
And the fans just got like super cozy and comfy in there, and it was awesome, and it sounded awesome. It sounded so good. I couldn't believe how well the song translated on acoustic guitars.
Yeah, cool. Can you find any of that kind of stuff online to look up?
We didn't do any professional audio video of it, so if it's somebody's phone.
Yeah.
What year was that? I'll definitely look that up.
We did one. I want to say we did one on the Savages record cycle, so that would have been 15, 16, I guess.
Yep.
Somewhere in there, 17, somewhere in there.
Okay. Yeah, I'll go look at it. Yeah, I mean I would love to see that.
Cool.
That'd be something I wish you guys had recorded and put out. So, maybe as a bonus, whatever, I would love to see that. That absolutely.
Yeah, well, because we put out we just recently released a live footage of us playing in Montreal. But it was, it's full production, full concert, but it would be cool to do that. Yeah. Like doing a full, camera crew come out, film a show, 4K,
even just the audio. I would love just to hear the audio as well too. But yeah, video would be great too. Absolutely. That would totally, cause your guys, have not experienced that, but the way your songs are structured, I think that would sound amazing.
It actually does. I wouldn't steer you wrong. It actually sounded really, really good.
Oh, dude, I would kill for that. That'd be super cool. When it comes to, we'll just give it a couple more questions here. When it comes to touring, you guys have toured with so many bands. Is there a favorite artist you toured with? Any favorite, tours or anything like that? Obviously Motley Crue, but anything else?
We've gotten along with a lot of the bands that we've toured with. Chris Daughtry did a run with him a while back. That was actually really good. He's like one of the nicest people I've ever met.
Awesome.
He really would go out of his way every day to just say hi and make sure everybody was having a good day. Him and I actually had a chop off. So who could grow the best chops? And I think I won that one. We walked out of that. It was an 8-week run, I think, and I had these gigantic chops, and so we took a photo together. And yeah, no, it was he was just a delight to be around. But like I said, we've done so many tours with like Three Doors Down. We always had fun with those guys. We've done a ton of touring with Pop Evil. They're always a fun bunch.
Yeah, I love those guys. Yeah.
And obviously Motley Crue was a blast. So did some one-offs with Leonard Skinner. Those guys were really nice. They were very cool. We did a show the last not this past Sturgis, but the one before last year. Not this one, not the COVID Sturgis, but the one before was with Snoop Dogg. That was cool as well.
Yeah.
And then who else, man? I don't know. I can't even think. There's so many cool bands.
Is there a band you'd want to tour with that you haven't yet?
I always want, I don't know if touring would work with them, but I always wanted to do a show with Aerosmith. I thought it'd be cool and just meet those guys. Share this. And actually, we were supposed to in Canada this past summer, not this COVID one, but the one before, and it fizzled out. The promoters, I guess, it was the Fire Festival of Canada, I guess.
Oh God, yeah.
So it didn't work out, but they were on the bill, and I was looking forward to that.
Yeah.
I just found an acoustic running on you guys on YouTube called Angel. Do you remember that?
What is it?
Well, that's one of our songs.
Yeah, it's an acoustic version of it.
From the
Were you
live
playing-
show?
Were you playing the what is it? What the hell is that called? Cajon?
Cajon?
Yeah, Cajon.
So I don't know if was that a live show or is that like a,
It doesn't look like it. It looks like it's in a studio type of
we've done
atmosphere.
so we've done like some of that stuff in like radio station studios.
Okay.
We've done
Yeah.
a couple in like at Sirius XM. We usually do those, and we do some in the label, like our label in New York. We'll go there and they have a studio and they'll do some of those to kind of put out for content. But that's not the live performance of us like on.
Right. It doesn't look like it is.
Yeah.
So let's let me just ask a little bit more about recording process for you, if you don't mind. So when it comes to songwriting and recording and stuff like that, are you involved in that, or is it like a guitar player and singer kind of put it together and then you come in and add the backbeats, or do you have something you're added as well? How does that work for you guys?
Tyler writes everything. He writes all the lyrics, the melody, and all the guitar stuff. And so he'll write everything at home. He's got a really nice studio at home that he built, and so he'll demo everything up at home. And then he'll usually for my sake he'll send his demo tracks over to me, and I'll record drums on top of that. And sometimes if he hasn't recorded a bass line or something, I'll record one and I'll write a part and put it in. Just more so for me, just because it helps me write down or write cool drum parts that fit.
Yep.
Especially kick drum patterns and stuff. And then I'll just kind of send it back to him, and then if he likes it, he'll keep it. If he doesn't, be like, just send me the drums, and so that's kind of how we do it. And then when it's all kind of demoed up like that, then he'll send them off to the label, and the label will kind of give us the this is good, let's go to the studio, or this isn't good, keep writing. But usually, like, Tyler's a really good songwriter, so usually we get first submit, and the label's like, yeah, ready to, those are great songs, let's record those. So then we then we'll hit the studio. And so the last two records we went to London and worked with Martin Tereffi, which was different for us because this second record, third record, and fourth record and fifth record were all produced by Howard Benson in LA. And so we were like, well, I think we're ready to make a switch because we're going to make a wake up call, and we wanted to do sonically a change and lyrically a change. And so we thought, maybe we just use a different producer. Yep. So Martin Tereffi, he reached out and showed a lot of interest in wanting to do the record. So he's like, but I'm in London. And we're like, great, let's go to London. Let's get out of our comfort zone and let's go somewhere else.
Right.
So we got some Airbnbs, and two of us lived in one and two of us lived in the other. And that was like a 7-week recording cycle in London for Wake Up Call with Martin. And that's when that record had RX Medicaid on it. And that song is probably the biggest song we've ever had to date now. It blew past Bad Girlfriend and
really
songs of that. Yeah. So we're like, we should probably go back and do another record with him. He seems to know what he's doing. So we did, and we came up with this new record now. And so it's quite a process.
Was it very different from previous records? I mean, was the recording process?
The recording process is way different. Like Howard is very he's got a method, right? And it's like, I do this first, and then I do this second, and I do this third, and it's very organized. And he wants everything rehearsed and the parts perfect, so that when we go to the studio, it's like just nail it. Like no
Yep.
no time for messing around, right? So it was like I would go there and record 14 songs, and I'd get drum tracks done in a day because I had my parts down, and Howard was happy with the parts. And it was like, we go in the studio, we get a big like a killer studio with a massive room. You ever Henson, who did the Muppets? I think he wrote.
Yep.
Yeah, so the Henson Studios in LA. So we recorded a lot in there because they have these gigantic drum rooms, and they sound awesome. So we would do all the drums in there, and then we'd go into Howard's studio and then record the rest of the record there. Whereas in London, Martin is like just easygoing. He's got this very Swedish, laid back, because he's from Sweden. It's a very laid back kind of guy, and he's got this killer accent and this good vibe. He's totally chill, and he's like, let's do this today, and then let's do that later. What do you guys want to do? And it was like we were playing every day. He's a killer musician, plays bass, plays piano, plays guitar. And so he would sit in there with us, and he's like, when we'd get to London, he didn't want us to rehearse. He didn't want us to know our parts. He's like, I got the demo. Let's just work off that, and let's just see what happens. Let's just make magic in the studio. And so, because he has his own studio, so, he hires a chef every day to come in and cook lunch for everybody. So you don't have to go anywhere, right? So you just go in and just work. And then we take a big lunch break, and this insane Moroccan chef, she's in there, and she's cooking up these ridiculous lunches for everybody. And it's just ridiculous, right? So awesome. And so we'd go there and we just jam, and he'd play piano with us, and we'd go through parts, and it was a way different experience. And one day we'd work on this song, and the next day we'd work on that song, and then the next day we'd go back to that part on that song, and then the next, so it was just like all over the place, and it just whatever inspired us that moment. And that's how we came up with those two records, and they've been wicked records for us because they are so different. And when you're working with for us, I don't know what it's like for other bands, but when you're doing the same thing over and over again, and then you go into something completely different, you don't really know what to think. So his calmness and his way of recording was almost like very calming and influential for us. And it allowed us to be creative because there was no pressure to nail shit right then and there. So it was awesome. And I think we came up with some pretty cool records because of it.
Yeah. And that's, and that's almost sort of a more classic approach to how records were made in the past versus today. Everything's so produced and so, chopped up. You don't have to play the whole song. You just play a part of it, and we can loop it or whatever.
Oh, totally. Yeah, or just fix that later. It's enough. But it was like him. We start jamming, and his engineer's already recording stuff. Like he's, and we're just messing around, trying shit. And I'm playing parts on my kit that I don't even know if it's gonna work. And then he plays it back, and everybody's like, "Sound great, keep it." I'm like, I didn't even know you recorded, man. But he captures everything because you never know when lightning strikes, right? So just let her go. And it was all live off the floor. And so those two records were really like that. And then once we made sure that we had all the right drum parts and stuff like that, then if there needed to be some touch-ups, we could do it. But everything was pretty much live off the floor.
So when it comes to the songwriting, you guys are really known for, I want to say, some of the comical sort of aspects of some of these songs, stuff like that. Do you does your record label say, all right, you have to have a ballad, you have to have a satire song or something like that? Or is it, you just kind of free, whatever comes out?
Whatever comes out.
Yeah.
I think for the most part, they were at one point, the A&R rep he was a little iffy about some of the swearing a lot. Because at the time, when you were still selling CDs, would go to Walmart and stuff, and Walmart always wanted a version where it doesn't have all that. So they were like, why do you gotta swear all the time, Tyler? Why can't you? That's what I'm saying, man. Whether you like it or not, that's what I say. You either like it or you don't. Yeah. And I'll give him that. That's where Tyler is he knows what he's writing, and he believes in what he's writing and his message. And if he has to swear, he has to swear. Yeah. And some people may be offensive. Maybe it's not, I don't know, but he's like, no, it's a song. You like it or you don't. And right. But I think the label kind of let us do all that because of the history of the band. I think they've realized that we've proven ourselves to not be a bunch of hacks. We can write a quality record.
Yeah. And I think your fans, myself included, the attitude of the songs and, you know, the journey your songs are taking us on, you know, you gotta be able to do it freely, you know, whether you're using the bad lyrics or whatever, you know, bad words or whatever. I think that, you know, because of your songs and the style of those songs, they fit perfectly the way they are. You can't edit those songs and still contain that attitude.
That's it. That's just it. It's just, that's the song, right?
Yeah, totally. So thank you so much for coming on. We really appreciate your time. So where can fans of yours go check out some stuff about you and what you've been working on, stuff like that?
Yeah, so I have an Instagram page at Theory Joe, and I post drum videos of me playing to our own songs, just so people can kind of see what it looks like from my point of view. And you can hear me playing how I would usually play the song live, and I'm actually playing along to our song. You can find me on my Facebook page as well, Joey Dandeneau. And I also have a YouTube channel as well under my name. So you can find all those videos on those 3 sites.
Awesome. Thank you so much for joining us.
And watch out for our new single coming out very soon.
Oh, awesome. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, excellent. So thank you very much for joining us. We really appreciate it, man.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks a lot, Joey.
Yeah, it's been great.
Hey, thanks for watching this episode with Joey Dandeneau. We hope you enjoyed it. You can check out more episodes on our YouTube page and our website, talesfromthepit.net. We'll see you next time.